So I'm delighted to be here to speak about universal credit, a vital reform delivering a fair and compassionate welfare system which helps people into work.
Amber Rudd, Secretary of State for Work and Pensions, the sixth since universal credit was first launched, began with a spirited defence of the benefit, which has been criticised on almost every front from the very beginning. Her watchword since being appointed in November has been compassion.
I am going to scrap the extension of two-child limit on universal credit for children born before April 2017. All children born before that date will continue to be supported by universal credit.
So a change for a tiny handful of people affected by universal credit, but clearly meant as a signal she's listening. But also in listening mode, her Tory colleague Heidi Allen and former Labour MP, now an independent, Frank Field. Yesterday they embarked on a tour of the country to find out how universal credit is working.
I'm just sick of the food bank stories. I'm sick of hearing it time and time again. There's just something very raw about being hungry, isn't there? That's, as a human being, you know, go back 1,000 years when we're wandering around with clubs and, you know, killing deer. Never mind the house, the sky, the Wi-Fi. If you haven't got food, that's it. And there's just something very, that's too far. Society has gone too far when people are hungry. And we have to work really hard to fix it.
But isn't that an admission that your government has gone too far? Is that hard for you? Is that...
I think there are a mix of things, and I don't want our report to be all about bashing the Tories, because I don't believe that's the case.
And also we've got to get them to change.
Yes.
I mean, do we change them by kicking them around and trying to prevent, you know, that you're evil on stilts? Or, look, this is where it's landed us.
At the First Love Foundation, a charity in Tower Hamlets, they meet Tareen, a trained biochemist who never thought she'd end up using a food bank. Her daughter developed severe epilepsy. She lost her job.
I think I was in shock. Yeah. So I didn't know really what to say, and I think I had a lot of pride back then, you know.
Errors by the Department for Work and Pensions regarding her immigration status meant she was first denied part of her benefit. It was reinstated, but then she was put onto universal credit and left £300 a month worse off. Debt, relying on food from charity, the whole experience, she says, anything but compassionate.
You isolate yourself because of the embarrassment and the stigma. And I just think, especially at the job centre, I think you just have to be lucky, because you can talk to somebody that's very well informed and they can help you and put you on the right path. Or you can talk to somebody that hasn't got a clue. I don't know if it's more information they need, or being a bit more sympathetic to people as well. Not everybody's out to get money.
Some of the criticisms that come from various publications, shall we say, can be based on one or two particular individuals where the advice hasn't worked for them. But in the vast majority, and I would urge everybody who hasn't to take the opportunity to speak to work coaches, the sort of support that individuals get is a completely different approach to what they had previously.
On to South London, and the cross-party MPs meet charity workers and food bank volunteers who tell them the problems are much more widespread than one or two cases.
Do you think you'd be in business in the way you are if we didn't have universal credit?
We saw a dramatic, you know, Southwark's being one of the first two in London, we saw a dramatic increase.
A lot of men in their 40s and 50s, actually. Yeah. A lot of them with some kind of mental health issue often, or some other illness or disability which has stopped them from working.
Today, 4 working single mothers won a High Court challenge over the way universal credit assesses their monthly payments. The DWP must consider the impact of the judgment. This policy first announced 8 years ago, clearly still a work in progress.